I want to ask you about Aaron Rodgers because you covered the Packers as Rodgers was in his prime, and this thing has disintegrated with the New York Jets. They fired Robert Saleh. Nothing changed. They brought in Davante Adams. Nothing changed. This is going to be rock bottom, losing to the lowly Patriots as the Patriots lose Drake May during this game to a concussion. In terms of why you think this has gone so badly with the Jets, what's the single biggest reason?
Well, Aaron Rodgers isn't going to bench himself, trade himself. I guess if he's the general manager of the team and he's got the best interest of the New York Jets in mind, that's what he would do, right? That's the next move because you tried everything else. You brought in the corpse of Randall Cobb. You brought in your buddies like Nathaniel Hackett, who isn't going to be an OC, isn't going to be a coach really anywhere else after that disaster in Denver. He's been able to do whatever he wants. He's had carte blanche to do everything he wants at the line of scrimmage, behind the scenes, and it has not worked. Nobody should be surprised, DA. Not even Babs. Babs, I know he's right on Robert Saleh. Maybe not the best coach, but Robert Saleh is just one little pawn in the game of Aaron Rodgers. Like, it was Robert Saleh, it was Joe Douglas, it was Woody Johnson, it was Nate Hackett all on that plane that went to California and bent the knee Game of Thrones style, just begging Aaron Rodgers to come and save their New York Jets. Nobody should be surprised. This age, at this position, at 40 years old, everybody this side of Tom Brady just declines rapidly, deteriorates. You saw the signs in Green Bay in 2022. You saw the playoff loss in 21 to San Francisco where he's apathetic and checked out. And then he's not the same guy in 22. Right? Green Bay put up with the nonsense for a long time because it was worth it. He was really damn good. He's still winning MVPs. He still has Davante Adams, and he's able to leak out of the pocket and improvise and freestyle and use his athleticism. At his best, Mike McCarthy, Matt LaFleur, they're sending plays in, and it doesn't really matter because Aaron Rodgers is at the line of scrimmage in control, changing the play, working outside of the pocket, doing what he wants to do. But when that athleticism falls off and you just don't have that comfort, your body isn't doing what the brain is telling it to do, this is what you get. You just get a cranky quarterback who is getting the coach fired, demanding Davante Adams, and nothing's really going to work, right? He's central to everything. So they're 2-6. It's not going to get any better. And I guess he plays next year if he wants to, because at this point, if you're Woody Johnson, here's the Jets' best scenario, DA. The best scenario for the New York Jets, I don't want to get too political a week away from the election, but the best scenario for the New York Jets is for Woody Johnson to be distracted and become the ambassador to another country. So he's away from your football team. He's away. He's not affecting decisions, and somebody else is in control making football decisions. If you're a Jets fan, that's what you hope for next Tuesday.
When you say the Packers dealt with the nonsense because he was really good, he was worth it, what was the nonsense?
I would say, okay, well, I don't know how much time we have. I mean, you're also talking to somebody who wrote a story on him at Bleacher Report, and he sat down with his buddy Jason Wilde and meticulously tried to skewer me and break it down piece by piece. And I'm just hearing him deny things that I know are absolutely true. So, I mean, he's gaslighting us now. We see him eat his boogers on national TV, and he tells us that we did not see him eat his boogers. I'm not surprised that he's just lying directly to our faces because I've seen it. I've heard it before. But I guess number one, just start there in the off season of whatever it was, 2021. He holds the Packers hostage for 3 months, right? Day of the draft, draws all the attention to himself. The day that's, all these quarterbacks are getting drafted. It's their day. No, it's Aaron Rodgers' day, baby. He's done with Green Bay. He's out, and they can't get in touch with him for a long time. He's trying to make a point. He shows up eventually, finally, after saying through surrogates that the only reason he would show up again is if Brian Gutekunst is fired. Wisely, Green Bay isn't going to do that because they're not a team like the New York Jets. They don't just do whatever their quarterback says. So eventually he does come back. He holds the press conference for a half hour, just blasting the Packers, blasting the GM for all the correct decisions he's made over the years. And I think that was just a small sign into what they had to deal with day in and day out. This is a narcissist who believes he should have a say in transactions, should have control at the line of scrimmage. And look, like I said, when he's really, really good, it's worth it. When he's winning MVPs, it's worth it. You should kind of gently give him some power, especially on the field, especially at the line of scrimmage. But there's a reason he's a quarterback and not in the front office, because, the decisions that he has pushed the Jets to make obviously have not worked out. I feel like we've only seen snippets. I think there's been a lot, and I've heard of a lot that's happened behind the scenes with him. I mean, whatever you think about the whole vaccine immunized debacle, I think it was pretty telling that he would have been okay with everybody thinking he was, and he only came out and was so opinionated and everything when he was caught. Like, he wasn't like Lamar Jackson and Kirk Cousins and Carson Wentz, wearing the scarlet letter. He was okay following the mob. It was just when he got it and he got caught that we learned, oh yeah, he lied before. So I don't know, man. It's a lot. The Jets kind of deserve all of this, and they shouldn't be surprised.
Do you think there are people around the NFL that are grinning, like you get what you pay for with Rodgers, that they're taking some satisfaction in the fact that this is imploding?
I'm sure that teams in the AFC East, for sure, are loving this. It's over. The Bills are going to win the division. I mean, here they're thinking, the Dolphins are going to be right there because they always start the season hot. Well, Tua Tagovailoa suffers another concussion. They fall way behind. They lose today. They're pretty much done. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, they're done. The Patriots are rebuilding. But I tell you what, the Green Bay Packers are absolutely smiling and breathing a sigh of relief and thanking the football gods that they got out of the Aaron Rodgers business when they did. It wasn't easy, because breakups are never easy. Think about any breakup that anybody's been through. Like, it's not fun for any party involved. And Brian Gutekunst and Matt LaFleur, like, they tried to do the whole "it's not you, it's me" routine. Remember how strange that was? Like, he went into the darkness retreat and he wasn't answering Brian Gutekunst's calls. But, I heard, and we heard it go along, Green Bay had moved on. Like, they were ready to move on to Jordan Love. But publicly, they didn't want that to be the narrative. They wanted the narrative to be Aaron Rodgers is kind of ready to move on. So it was messy. It was ugly. But I know right now, and I've talked to people at 1265 Lombardi Avenue, they are thrilled that they don't have to deal with the quote-unquote complicated fella, as Mark Murphy put. And I think that he was an absolute headache to deal with behind the scenes. And, obviously it helps when Jordan Love's good, right? If he's not good, it's maybe a different conversation, especially if Aaron Rodgers is leading the Jets to a 6-2 start versus 2-6. But I just think it got to the point where they're like, okay, enough is enough. We're moving on. And you know what it was too? If we're going to stick to the football, and we can talk about the personality stuff forever, but that Lions game, basically a playoff game, winning in week 18, whatever it is, at Lambeau Field, he just apathetic, checked out, not engaged to the game, just disappears completely in the fourth quarter. And that's kind of the Aaron Rodgers that you saw in big moments toward the end of his tenure. I think that that's really what Brian Gutekunst saw and was like, okay, now we've got something substantive here to move on from, and we're going to do it. Like, we're moving on to Jordan Love and not looking back.
Do you think that LaFleur brought in Robert Saleh because they're soldier in arms, that they both have been undermined by Rodgers, and so that they can connect or relate on that level, or is that just a coincidence?
Boy, I love a story like that, DM. This is just me saying it. It's not coming from sourcing per se. I would think there's some of that involved. I know they're like best friends, right? And Jordan Rodriguez, The Athletic, has that excellent podcast series out on, Saleh and McVay and Shanahan and McDaniel and how close they all are and their tentacles of their coaching tree. All that stuff is fascinating. But I got to think, if you're Robert Saleh and you're going to Green Bay, I loved living in Green Bay. I'm a country guy. But, he was just in the city. He's been out in the Bay Area. If you're choosing to throw yourself into that corner of Northeast Wisconsin, yeah, you probably like being with your buddy Matt LaFleur. But there's probably a little part of you that's thinking, man, we both went through some battles with the complicated fella, with quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Let's bond together and heal together and learn to love football again. I got to think there's some of that involved.
I love that. I love that.